Hi, so I'm still getting a lot of comments about my weight loss and weight change, and I wanted to talk about it and maybe shed some light on what's been happening. So let's get into it. Hi, and thank you so much for coming back to my channel, and thank you for watching. It means the world to me, and I really appreciate it. If you're new here, perhaps consider subscribing. We talk about all things, but it's pretty much the general thing is all about mental health and healing. And I have music to help you heal, and I talk about my life, my struggles. I'm an addict. I've got autism. I have depression. Everything, the whole list of things. So basically, that's what this channel is. We talk about. I know that if I'm going through something, the chances are you're going through something, and somehow it helps me to talk about it, knowing that it might be helping you. So I love you guys, and yeah, this week I wanted to talk about this weight thing that I still am getting comments about and still getting asked about. I did lose a lot of weight a couple of years ago, and I did something which wasn't the best idea, and it wasn't the way I did it was don't do it. It's not a great it's not healthy for someone with food issues, and I do have food issues. I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic in recovery, but I have to watch myself around food. My first addiction, I believe, was sugar, and I used to use sugar to help me feel better. I don't know if you have the same thing. Food was they call it comfort food, don't they? I mean, if you're getting emotional comfort from food, it can be an issue, and I was using it to regulate my emotions. And so I have food addiction, as well as I think addicts have cross addiction. Like, we pretty much, if you're an addict, in my opinion, well, I keep it to myself, I'm an addict, so I can get addicted to anything, and I have to keep that in mind. It's like, just swap out the substance or the behavior, and my addiction will attach to it. So my addiction will attach to anything, like sugar, drugs, alcohol, sex, technology, shopping, anything, that has the capacity to be addictive. My addiction will cling on to and latch onto. But food is a really serious addiction, and it's not taken seriously enough yet, I don't think. Sugar is massively addictive. It's more addictive than cocaine, they've found. Especially refined sugar is like a lightning bolt of sugar. Crack cocaine is like cocaine really simmered down to be super potent. That's what refined sugar, which is most of the things you get in food these days, that's what it is to sugar, what crack cocaine is to cocaine. It's super refined, super cracked out version of sugar, which is super addictive anyway. So it's a recipe for disaster. So I've really had to watch myself around food. When I first went into rehab 18 years ago, we were all put in together. So drug addicts, alcoholics, sex addicts, gambling addicts, and food addicts were all put in the same. It wasn't like they treated addictions differently. Everyone was just grouped together, and I found that to be really fascinating. And the only patient in that rehab that didn't make it was food addict. Isn't that crazy? The only person that actually died from addiction while I was there was an addict of food. She was anorexic, and it needs to be taken more seriously. Food addiction really needs to be taken more seriously. It's life ruining, and so I really have to watch myself around food. I was always fat, always overweight, always big. When I was, for as far back as I can remember, I was always on diets and stuff, and I was always overweight. And in my 20s, I was massively overweight. I was like 150 pounds heavier than I am now. It was an issue. It was a real issue when I was drinking. I was like 2 sizes bigger than I am now. And being in that treatment center, I realized, okay, I've probably got a a thing with food as well. And the funny thing was that the counselors, one day I was just eating, and one of the counselors came over to me and he said, I think we need to have a discussion with you about your food issues. And I was like, food issues? How dare you? I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. That's why I'm here. What are you talking about? Food issues. I wish I'd listened to him, because that is something that, has turned out to be the case. Well, it's probably always the case, but I've only just realizing it now. So intermittent fasting is what I do now. Well, basically, I lost 50 pounds from when we had Alfie. I gained a lot of weight. The dad thing of new dads normally gain a lot of weight, and because I was really keeping an eye on my weight and really trying to keep a lid on it. I don't like feeling out of control with anything because I'm an addict, but I was definitely feeling out of control. I was out of control with eating after Alfie was born, just out of control, just eat. And I was probably self-regulating. And I got way heavier than I was comfortable with, and I was depressed and, just sluggish, and I didn't like it. And I was like, I really don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to do that. Don't want to be this overweight, and I don't want to feel like this. And I'd reached a desperation point, but I thought I'd try anything. And I made a video about how I did it. And what I realized after I dropped that video was that a lot of people in the comments were like, "That's a really bad way for an addict to lose weight." And it's true. It was actually wrong, and I shouldn't have done that. I mean, it worked for me. I'll tell you the whole timeline to just put it into perspective. So I read a book, which I can't remember the name of. If I can remember it, I'll put it in the description below. Well, I won't, because it's not a good idea. If you're an addict and you're following this channel, I shouldn't. That's irresponsible. So anyway, I heard about a diet. I'm not going to be too specific. A mono diet where you just eat one thing. And I followed this book about this diet, and it was very, very restrictive and very, very hardcore for 2 weeks. But I lost, I want to say like 30 pounds in 2 weeks, which is too much and too quick on this mono diet. And I was like 50 pounds overweight. And one of the things that they suggested in the book, which I still don't know if this is even healthy, is maybe tell me in the comments, especially if you've got food addiction or if you know about this stuff. Is this even healthy for an addict? But it suggested that when you've done this diet, you did intermittent fasting, which is where you only eat for a certain amount of time during the day. You only eat for certain hours. And so I've maintained that weight loss, and I've been sticking to the intermittent fasting. And I feel like I'm in control. I feel like it's healthy. That I did that mono diet 18 months ago, and I've carried on with intermittent fasting till now. I'm still doing that. And that's the reason that I'm a lot skinnier than I used to be. So, thank you for all your concern. I really appreciate it. And I do get a lot of messages about this issue. But I feel really good. I checked with the BMI index, and I'm in the normal range now. I was always over, and I'm back in the normal range now. I mean, it is an obsession, weight, with me, in the same way that drugs and alcohol were an obsession. So I don't like to feel. I like to feel in control. It's important to me to feel in control of my weight, because that's one way that I feel like I've got control over my addiction. Maybe I should apply 12 steps to it. There's a great program for people who have food issues called OA. It's a 12-step program for people that have food issues. And I keep saying I should go, because I want to check that my relationship with food isn't disordered or anything. So I just wanted to make a little video about that, because I made a video a couple of years ago about it when it first happened, but I'm still getting a lot of comments. So I wanted to catch you up and just tell you that I'm still basically doing intermittent fasting. I only eat for 7 hours, 7, 8 hour. I have a 7, 8 hour window during the day when I eat, and then I don't. And it's working for me. I feel great. I feel healthy. I don't feel out of control with that. I feel out of control when I'm too heavy or I put on a lot of weight. But yeah, interesting discussion. Let me know in the comments. Do you think what I'm doing is? Am I too focused on weight? Am I too focused on food? Do I sound addicted? What do you think about intermittent fasting for someone with food issues? Anyway, so that's my little video for today. I would love to see you again soon. I love you guys, and let's speak again next week.